Karen crushed Grandpa's medal. Didn't know my sister's a criminal lawyer. The air in the living room was thick with the kind of silence that screams trouble. Karen, my neighbor with a knack for stirring chaos, had just stormed in, her designer purse swinging like a weapon, declaring she'd fix our family's so-called tacky display of Grandpa's war medals. By the time we realized what she'd done, the glass case was shattered, and Grandpa's prized silver star lay in the dirt outside, stomped into the mud like trash. I'm Lynn, a quiet graphic designer who'd rather sketch than argue. I'd known Karen for years. She was the kind of HOA president who'd fine you for a crooked mailbox or a slightly overgrown lawn. Her house was pristine, her smile fake, and her voice carried the kind of authority that made you feel small. But this was personal. Grandpa, a frail 92-year-old veteran who'd survived Vietnam, had only one treasure left: that medal, earned for dragging two wounded soldiers to safety under fire. Karen didn't care. To her, it was just clutter ruining the neighborhood's curb appeal. It started innocently enough. Karen had been sniffing around our property for weeks, leaving notes about our unsightly front porch. She'd complained about the flagpole, the flower beds, even the way Grandpa's old rocking chair creaked on the porch. But when she showed up that Saturday morning, her eyes locked on the glass case we'd mounted near the front door, a small tribute to Grandpa's service. "This has to go," she'd said, tapping her clipboard. "It's an eyesore. HOA rules." I tried reasoning with her, explaining the medal's significance, but she cut me off. "Rules are rules. Lynn, you're bringing down property values." I thought that was the end of it. I was wrong. By Monday, Karen had escalated. She'd rallied a few HOA loyalists, claiming our display violated some obscure bylaw about exterior modifications. Grandpa, who rarely spoke anymore, overheard her ranting to a neighbor about how old junk like his medal made the street look ghetto. His hands shook as he gripped his cane, but he said nothing. I wanted to scream, but I held back, thinking we could talk her down at the next HOA meeting. Then came the twist nobody saw coming. My cousin, Min, dropped by unannounced that evening. Min was a wild card, tattooed, loud, and fresh out of a messy divorce. He'd always been close to Grandpa, calling him the toughest old man alive. When he saw the HOA's latest letter demanding the case's removal, he lost it. "Who does this Karen think she is?" he roared, pacing the living room. "She's not touching Grandpa's stuff." Min wasn't the type to sit quietly. He was the type to spray paint a middle finger on Karen's garage. I begged him to stay calm, but his eyes had that reckless glint. That night, I caught him sneaking out with a crowbar, muttering about taking care of things. I stopped him, but the damage was done. Karen had already seen him lurking and called the cops, claiming he'd threatened her. The next morning, Karen went nuclear. She didn't just file a complaint, she showed up at our house with a sledgehammer. I was at work, and Grandpa was alone. By the time I got home, the glass case was in pieces, the medal gone. Grandpa sat on the porch, staring at the wreckage, his face gray. "She said it was for the neighborhood," he whispered. I found the medal later, half buried in the garden, its ribbon torn and the star scratched beyond repair. Karen had crossed a line, and something in me snapped. That's when my sister, Mai, entered the picture. Mai was everything I wasn't: sharp, fearless, and a criminal lawyer who'd taken down crooked CEOs and shady politicians. She'd been away on a case in Chicago, but flew back when I called her, sobbing about the medal. Mai didn't waste time. She pulled up in her sleek black car, her heels clicking like a countdown to war. "Where's Karen?" she asked, her voice calm but deadly. I pointed to Karen's house across the street, where she was smugly watering her roses like nothing had happened. Mai didn't knock. She marched straight into Karen's pristine living room, where Karen was hosting her weekly HOA meeting. I followed, my heart pounding. The room was full of her cronies, retirees, and busybodies who nodded at her every word. Mai didn't care. "You destroyed a veteran's war medal," she said, her voice cutting through the chatter. "You're going to pay for it," Karen laughed, tossing her hair. It was an eyesore, sweetheart. I did you a favor. The room went silent. Even her loyalists shifted uncomfortably. Mai laid out the facts like a prosecutor. The medal wasn't just a decoration. It was a federally protected symbol of valor under the Stolen Valor Act. Destroying it was a felony. Karen's smirk faded as Mai pulled out her phone, showing photos of the shattered case and the ruined medal. You didn't just break glass, Mai said. You desecrated a piece of history, and you're going to answer for it. Karen tried to deflect, claiming she had HOA approval, but Mai was relentless. She'd already contacted the local VA chapter, who were livid, and had a friend at the district attorney's office ready to review the case. The room erupted. Karen's allies started whispering, some slipping out the door. Min, who'd shown up uninvited, couldn't resist piling on. You think you run this neighborhood, he shouted. You're just a bully with a clipboard. Karen's face turned red, but she doubled down, accusing us of harassment. That's when Mai dropped the bombshell she'd found records of Karen embezzling HOA funds for her own renovations, thousands of dollars meant for community projects. The crowd gasped. One of Karen's closest allies, Mrs. Nguyen, stood up, trembling. Is this true, she asked. Karen stammered. But Mai had the receipts, bank statements, emails, even a contractor's invoice. The fallout was swift. The HOA board suspended Karen that night, pending an audit. The VA chapter filed a formal complaint, and the DA's office opened an investigation. Karen's perfect life unraveled. Her husband left. Her social circle ghosted her, and reporters started sniffing around. The neighborhood, once her kingdom, turned against her. Kids egged her house. Her roses wilted. And Grandpa, he got a new display case. Funded by a crowdfunding campaign, Mai started. The VA even arranged a small ceremony to honor him, replacing the ruined medal with a replica. But the real justice came in court. Mai didn't just win, she obliterated Karen's defense. Karen tried to play the victim, claiming she was protecting the neighborhood. But the judge wasn't having it. She was fined heavily, ordered to pay restitution, and sentenced to community service cleaning up the very streets she'd terrorized. As she stood there, humiliated, Mai leaned in and whispered, "You messed with the wrong family." Grandpa didn't say much after that. He didn't need to. The new case gleamed on the porch, and every time he passed it, he'd touch the glass gently, like he was saying thank you. Karen moved away a month later. Her house sold at a loss. The neighborhood felt lighter, like a storm had passed. What do you think? Was Karen's punishment fair? Or did she deserve worse? Share your thoughts. I'd love to hear them.